We are halfway through the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, and Johnny Depp is in the lead. This is surprising because he lost the case he filed in the UK against The Sun. In that case, The Sun published an article saying that he was a wife beater, and a British judge held that that was substantially true. And in fact, there were at least 12 instances where Amber Heard was the victim of domestic violence. Depp appealed that case and lost that case as well. So when he filed here in the United States against Amber Heard, the consensus was that he was very behind, but he's made an amazing comeback in this US case. Now, it's still too early to count out Amber Heard, but let's talk about the first 3 weeks of this 6-week trial. Johnny Depp was a fantastic witness in a case that's all about likability and credibility, because when it comes to domestic violence, often there aren't many percipient witnesses. It's usually the abuser and the victim in a room together. And in this particular case, you have two completely different stories. Johnny Depp, of course, saying that he's never laid a hand on Amber Heard except in self-defense, and Heard, of course, saying she is the victim of domestic violence. And that's what she published in 2018 in a Washington Post op-ed. That's the subject of this case. All the previous statements don't come in because there was a 2016 release between Depp and Heard out of their divorce, and the two released all the claims they had against each other. Depp, of course, paid Amber Heard $7 million, which Heard reportedly said she was going to donate to charity, and she didn't donate all the money. But let's talk a bit about Johnny Depp's testimony in the witness stand. And the direct and cross-examination took days, but he came across as a vulnerable witness. He talked about the abuse he suffered at the hands of his mother particularly, but also his father, how he started using drugs at age 11, first by using his mom's nerve pills so he wouldn't feel anything, and he continued just using drugs the rest of his career. Importantly, he said he took drugs to numb the pain so he wouldn't feel, not to party like some other people might. He also presented a series of witnesses. One important expert witness, Dr. Curry, she's a psychologist who testified that Heard suffered from two important personality disorders: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. Those are important diagnoses because the borderline shows, or at least argues to the jury, that Amber Heard can be emotionally volatile, reactive, that she may be prone to violence. And histrionic is important because it argues to the jury that, especially when it comes to females, that she may use sex as a weapon. Heard has a rebuttal for all this. Her witness, Dr. Hughes, has testified that she doesn't suffer from any of those, but she suffers from PTSD. PTSD, of course, is consistent with a victim of domestic violence. One other very important part of Johnny Depp's case are independent witnesses. He put on witnesses like his sister, his friend who managed the Viper Room, who lived with him, but those were not only friends or family members, but they were also relying on Johnny Depp for their income. So, setting those potentially biased witnesses aside, you have the independent witnesses in this case who I think testified well for Depp. Most importantly, LAPD. They arrived at the scene and they testified they saw no evidence that Amber Heard was the victim of domestic violence. That's important. They're police officers. Jurors love police officers, and they're trained to investigate and arrest when there's been assault in a domestic situation. And then you have the people who worked in their building that also came to Depp's defense and said that they didn't see any evidence that Heard was victimized. Now, I think it's premature to say that Johnny Depp has won. There's a lot of folks on social media that are Johnny Depp fans. They're saying the case is over. They point to a motion that was filed at the end of Depp's case in chief, a motion to dismiss, and that was denied by the judge. But it's important to note that those types of motions are routinely filed in every civil and criminal case. Doesn't matter whether it's a prosecution, a civil plaintiff's case, the defense always files a motion to dismiss, and they're rarely, if ever, granted. And this is why. The only basis to grant a motion to dismiss is if no reasonable juror can find for the plaintiff or the prosecution. It's essentially a judge taking the case out of a juror's hands and making a decision for them. that creates an automatic appellate issue, and it's something that judges rarely, if ever, do. So the fact that that defense motion was made and dismissed shouldn't be something that people say proves Johnny Depp wins. His team still has to convince those Northern Virginia jurors that, one, the statement was defamatory. That means it was false when Amber Heard said that she was a victim. And that, two, he was damaged. One of the things that both parties are trying to prove is Johnny Depp's damages. Was he really kicked off of Pirate 6 by Disney because of this article? Or is it something that he walked away from himself, or a decision that Disney made unrelated to the article? It's important. Everything has to tie back into this defamatory statement. Now, Depp has sued Heard for $50 million. She's countersued for $100 million. I don't think, even if Johnny Depp is going to win, he's going to actually try to collect a judgment from Amber Heard. If he does, he'll probably donate it to charity. Or he may ask the jury for a nominal sum, like $1, during closing arguments. Because this isn't a case about suing his ex-wife. This is a case about Johnny Depp trying to clear his name and resurrect his acting career. It's been a very good start for the Depp team so far, considering how behind he was once this case started because of the UK ruling. But Amber Heard still hasn't testified. It's gonna happen very soon, and I strongly encourage everyone to withhold their judgment, because even though Depp was an amazing witness, I expect Amber Heard to be very strong as well. She's already won once in the UK. Her deposition testimony in this case was very powerful, and she's gonna have her own witnesses and her own evidence that are gonna come in. The next couple weeks of this trial before closing arguments are gonna be very telling to see if Johnny Depp is gonna prevail, clear his name, and save his acting career. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell for more notifications.